What is up, YouTube? Today, I got a very, very special video for you guys. And I promise if you actually listen to this and take notes on this video and then apply that knowledge, not just taking notes, but apply that knowledge, you will be 10 times more powerful and capable and take over your life, not just in the gym and your physique, but mentality wise, habit wise, and overall just level up as a man, obviously, and become top 1% of man nowadays. I hate these long, drawn out intros that YouTubers do nowadays, so let's just get straight into it. So, why is it even important to become a dangerous, capable, masculine man in this world? And what the fuck do I mean by a Spartan? So, as you may or may not know, the average testosterone level 70 years ago was 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Nowadays, you'd be accused of using steroids with that level. The average nowadays is anywhere from 300 to 700 nanograms per deciliter, which should be like concerning. So if you're someone who, let's say you wake up and you feel slow and lethargic and you don't really feel motivated to get shit done, this applies to you, and I will help you with that because I myself have struggled with that many times over. I've been overweight, I've been skinny too, and struggled with my confidence and just didn't get shit done. But with this system, with this Spartan training technique, I promise you that will no longer be an issue that you have to worry about. So, luckily for you, though, I gave you the bad news first, but luckily, this also means it has never been easier to get ahead of 99% of men in the world because the competition is so low. In this video, I'll explain how to change your lifestyle in applicable ways so that you can use today. All right, so Spartan. What does that mean? The word Spartan in the English language definitively means, literally, I'll give you the definition, refers to someone or something that is indifferent from comfort or luxury. Think about that. If you are someone who is just comfortable with a shit life, you have that job you hate, you have that girl that you hate, well, you know what I mean. That girlfriend that's just nagging you and you could do better, but you're just, whatever, it's comfortable. She's maybe a 6. You could have a 9, but you're just comfortable with it. So, with this Spartan mindset, I'm saying you're not going to be a slave to that. You're going to put yourself in these very uncomfortable situations so that you become a more capable and competent man. Also, in ancient Sparta, side note, young boys were taught to endure hardship and obey orders without complaint. And obviously, you shouldn't be someone who just obeys. But the point here is that, one sec. The point here is that from a very young age, these boys were disciplined because they had to obey and they had to do all these hard things that a young boy nowadays would never do. Okay. Who this is for, I'll move this. So who is this for? This is for men who are sick of their same toxic habit cycle. What I mean by that is men who, let's say, you wake up, you hop on your phone, instantly blue light hitting your face, and your circadian rhythm's all fucked up. You're waking up at noon, you drank the night before because it was a Saturday, it's Sunday morning, you didn't go to church, you probably should have, and you're just doing all these toxic habits. You're drinking fucking juice with sugar, and you're not locked in on the diet, not locked in on anything, and you want to break that cycle. And believe me, I've been there. It's hell, but there is light on the other side. This video is also for men who want to adopt confidence and stoicism, two key principles to being a dangerous and capable man is to be confident in yourself and also have the stoicism to realize that not everything really matters. And you need to, at the end of the day, it's just you in your own mind. This is also for men who want pounds of lean muscle mass and dick skin. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever had like a fucking skin splitting pump in the gym and your veins are just fucking everywhere and just tight, your biceps are pushing through your skin, it literally feels like boner skin just on your fucking arms. So that's what I mean by that. And then also, obviously, men who want to attract, notice how I didn't say chase or get, attract abundance of women and success. Who this is not for. Now, this is not for men who are just looking to get jacked super quick. And yes, obviously this method is the quick way, but that doesn't mean you're going to just expect to get your dream physique in 1-2 months. You need to be willing to put in all the effort month after month and just expect nothing. And by expecting nothing, you're just focused on actually doing the habits, and eventually that physique will come to you as a byproduct. Who this also isn't for is men who can't even pay attention to this singular video. If you can't give me however long this video is, let's say 20 minutes of your time, then you might as well click off right now, because I'm literally dropping the sauce on how I became successful within myself and all the errors that I made so that you can't make them and you will just get straight to the success. Also, men who have a scarcity mindset. So, scarcity mindset. What I mean by that is you have this mindset where you can't fathom that you can get anything back. Let's say you made $10,000 and then you spend all that money and you're scared and you can't make it back, or an investment on yourself and you're too scared to, but it could apply to anything though. It could be women, it can be, I'll never get a girlfriend, like I said with the 6. If you're with a 6 right now and you don't believe you can do better, well, that's a limiting belief, and I'll get into that later more. All right, so this is where the sauce is going to be dropped. Right here, just going to get it out of the way quick. The first thing you need to do is cut out all of your vices. Now, vices basically just means anything that has a grip on you and is limiting you and holding you back from your true potential that you know you have within you. So, I don't really need to talk too much about this, but obviously, porn, us men, it's not really our fault. We've been kind of programmed since a young age. It's just something we all struggled with at some point, and if you're there, that's okay. But you need to realize that at the end of the day, and I'm about to just get real with you, you are literally giving your life force, your sperm, your semen, that is your life force. You can create a life with that. And you are literally, on a spiritual level, you are giving that away for free to literal pixels on your phone to some random girl that doesn't know you exist, that has daddy issues. Again, don't need to get into it too much, but just go out in the real world and find a real woman to satisfy your desires in that way. Junk food, this one's a huge one. This is just It's dopamine releasing chemicals, and it feels really good in the moment, but you always end up feeling like shit afterwards. And I remember in high school, I would eat junk food all the time for lunch every day. I was eating McDonald's and shit like that. And I just felt like shit, and I was getting fat, and I was getting acne everywhere. And it was horrible. I felt like shit. You have to realize at a certain point that they are literally deliberately designing these fast food industries to keep you at a low frequency, draining you of your brain power and making you a slow zombie with no nutrients, and you will never be a free thinker with these chemicals going through your bloodstream. I promise you that. Childish entertainment. What do I mean by that? Stuff like video games, watching sports teams, and I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but if you truly are about this self-improvement journey, you will realize that you are putting your energy into something else. Like, video games is literally just an imaginary game on a screen that you're playing, and that you're wasting your time. You could be doing so many other things. You could be meal prepping, you could be journaling, you could be meditating, you could be taking a cold plunge, you could be reading a good book that you can actually improve your life with, but instead you're just wasting hours and hours on end getting emotional over these games that don't even exist. Same thing with sports. Everyone loves a good football game every once in a while, but how do you expect to have as much output in your life if most of your input goes into these imaginary games with balls or computer screens or whatever the fuck it is? Just leave these games to your children. You are a man now. Drugs and alcohol, easily one of the most easy vices to take over your life due to the addictive nature of these, obviously. Most people say to wean off slowly, just do less and less, like deload, whatever. I say just quit it fucking cold turkey. I know it's hard, but if you're really about this, you really unlock something in your brain that you're just like, no, I'm done with this. I'm not someone who does this, and I'm going to improve myself, and I'm going to feel better, and I'm going to get stronger in the mind and my muscles. And it's not something I do anymore. So let me ask you this. Would you rather drink alcohol and smoke weed and lose all of your muscle? Because you literally can't build any muscle while you drink alcohol, because it's going to deteriorate your muscles. Also, muscle protein synthesis is inhibited. You can't even repair your muscles that you damage, so you might as well just stick to one or the other. Either you drink or you work out. Not both. Not both, bro. I'm sorry. And same thing with weed. I was, guys, I was one of the biggest pot smokers ever. And I had every excuse in the book, every, what do you call it? Every single uh adjustment. I had every single justification in the book for this stuff. I would say, oh yeah, well that doesn't apply to me because yeah, some people get lazy and stuff, but I smoke weed and I get productive. I'm special. Guys, biology and chemistry doesn't choose people like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't give a fuck. At the end of the day, especially as a man, weed is an estrogenic plant. It is a female plant. There are male and female plants in this universe, and marijuana is a female one. So you're literally smoking the buds that it grows with female pheromones to signal the male plants, and you're smoking that and literally getting estrogen, which you probably know is fucking bad if you want to build muscle. You're a man, not a girl. So stop smoking this shit. And I'm not trying to act like I'm on a high horse, because not too long ago I was smoking every day. And once I quit though, my brain power, I can't even tell you, like 10x'd my brain power. Anyways, training. So the gay. It's not gay though, I promise. Agoge is actually the Spartan word for training. Well, their training program. They had 7-year-old boys go train for 13 years to become a Spartan. And so this is my unique training program, and this is just some of the basics, the very basics about it. It goes way more in depth in my program, obviously, but we're going to go right here. So, training 5 times a week. I mean, most of you probably, I can't say, but if I had to guess, like me, I used to train 6 or 7 days a week. And I realized that this was just limiting my growth because I'm not recovering. Guys, you have to realize in order to grow muscle, you need to be resting a lot of the time and just eating and sleeping. So 5 times a week is pretty much the baseline. And I like to go one rest day in the middle of the week and then at the end of the week. So I take a rest day on Wednesday after, or not Wednesday, Thursday, because Wednesday I hit legs, big muscle group. Next day I want to recover from that. Anyways, pretty simple, straightforward. This one's a big one. Intensity over volume. Guys, I used to do 4 exercises per muscle per day. So let's say I'm training chest. I would do 4 exercises and then I would do 4 sets each. That's like crazy volume. And that's like 16 sets for just chest one day. So 32 in a week. That's crazy volume. And at the end, after like 2 exercises, your chest is already, it's cooked, it's done, it can't get any more stimulus, and you're just pumping dead weight and you're wasting your time, you're fatigued. So I'm saying limit to 2 sets per exercise, 2 top sets at least, and maybe on one lift per day you do 3 top sets. But this way you're not going to be doing as much volume, but you're going to be training a lot harder. You're going to be going to failure on these sets. Not failure at 20 reps. I'm saying failure at 12 reps with progressive overload. Another basic shit you probably know. But this progressive overloading, what that's going to do is, and I grew crazy muscle when I started implementing this, is you're going to only do 2 top sets to failure on each exercise, and not doing crazy amounts. Like for chest or back, you can do like 3 or 4 exercises, but something like triceps or biceps, I only do like 2 exercises and 2 sets. So, and I started growing big ass arms when I started doing that. So stop making the mistake of just mindlessly just doing a bunch of fucking volume. It's junk. And another top thing I want to talk about is death over disgrace. Now in Sparta, this was one of their core values, is they would rather die than be a disgrace to their family, their loved ones, or just to Sparta. And how I implement this is, I mean, you need to be willing to die. It might sound corny, but willing to die in the gym. You need to actually take your mind to a dark place. Everyone has their demons and their battles. Take your mind to that place when you're hitting your sets, when it gets hard, when you want to give up, and you keep pushing that shit. You keep pulling that shit. You keep fucking squatting that shit. Because at the end of the day, everyone's dealt with this. If you give up and you knew you had like 3 more reps, like at least for me, that would piss me off. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that. I'd be like, fuck, like I fucked up. I was a pussy in the gym and I could have done a lot more to get to my goal, but I didn't. I just gave up. And so that's a big one. Now, as far as nutrition, most fitness influencers and guys on the internet are going to tell you 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Nerdy shit. Anyways, I say, if you're, especially like I help a lot of skinny men because that's where I started. Was I couldn't put on any weight or muscle, no matter how much I trained and ate. You need to be eating at least 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Because, and as a bonus, I'm going to add this: take digestive enzymes with every meal too, so that you're actually absorbing all those extra nutrients. You are absorbing that extra protein that you have, because normal people aren't consuming that much protein. And when you're in a surplus of protein, your body will just shit it out. So what these enzymes do is they're actually going to help the uptake process, and you're actually going to digest and you're going to build some fucking muscle. Next thing, it's also for skinny guys. I would not recommend this if you're overweight, but for skinny individuals, the 60-20-20 law. And what this is 60% of your diet should be carbs. The other 20 and 20 is your protein and your fat. I know you're thinking, oh, well, 20% protein, that's like no protein. However, if you are eating like, if you're eating, let's say, 4,000 calories, 20% of that for protein is a high amount of protein. That's like 220 grams of protein. And the carbs, everyone thinks carbs are bad. They'll make you fat. That's why you're still skinny, bro. I promise. That's why you're still skinny. Because you're scared of carbs, which actually make you fucking grow. That's what your muscles use to grow and get bigger. So it's not too complicated, guys. Just stick to that. Now, test maxing. This is a big one. See a lot of people on the internet talking about this, but I'll just dumb it down for you. You should be focusing as a man on testosterone, the primary male sex hormone. So, how can you do this? Well, it's a few lifestyle changes that make the biggest impact. For starters, you want to take 10,000 IUs a day of vitamin D3 and pair that with K2 MK7 variant. Just look it up on Amazon, you can get it. You have to take them together though for it to actually work. Another thing is getting your circadian rhythm on point. So when you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, this is going to allow your body to produce the most testosterone when you sleep. Don't stay up all night. Just go to bed at a reasonable time, 10, 11. Shouldn't really be up till midnight unless you're doing some crazy work, but just do that, as well as eating a good diet where you're not just shoveling sugar and all these testosterone killers. Try to avoid microplastics as best as you can. All my meal prep containers I use are glass. There's a whole bunch of shit I could get into, but really at the end of the day, it's just doing. The big one is doing hard shit. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself every day. One thing a day. Let's say you don't want to wake up early, but you wake up early even though you're tired, and you do that. That small win, that's gonna release these chemicals, and you're gonna feel like a winner, because testosterone is literally just the chemical of success. Basically, that is what rewards you for being successful as a man, and you need to implement these things. So that was my video. Hope you guys found some value in it, and that's all I got for today. Peace out.